live their own lives, and we all have our very own unique life journeys. Today, people all around the world are constantly trying to make one of the most challenging decisions of their lives, to leave their homes and to move to another country. This is an act of migration. People's movement from one country to another brings about displacement from familiar surroundings and exposes them to different cultures, values, and norms. Welcome to the show of Understanding the World. My name is Katie, your host for tonight's show. As you can tell, our topic for today's show is migration. Before we go further into the topic, let's get to know more about the types of migration as well as its origin.
There are plenty of push and pull factors leading to people's migration, hence different types of migration. The first type of migration is free human mobility, where people move on their free will. This may be due to one country's pull factors, including welfare benefits, more opportunities, better facilities, and living environment attracting people to move so as to have a higher quality of life. The other type of migration is forced migration, where people are forced to move due to different push factors such as wars, conflict, poverty, national disasters, persecution, discrimination, and deportation. They may be referred to as refugees or asylum seekers. Migration is as old as the history of humanity. The earliest signs of migration is around 2000 BC, where tribes from Africa spread throughout Central Africa due to the environmental factors such as drought, natural disaster, and overclimate influencing human decisions about where to migrate to. Looking at modern history from 1950 to 1974, guest worker schemes and decolonization also led to great migration. After World War II, the economies of northwestern Europe thrived dramatically. During that time, native workers of these regions are being invested in enhancing their work skill as well as the capability. Therefore, it allows the workers to have the chance to move up to white-collar work. Local workers were no longer willing to do unhealthy and low-paid jobs such as agriculture, cleaning, construction. As a result, the authority of northwestern Europe countries recruited employees from other countries whose employees would go back when they finished their contracts. From the 1990 to 2012, recent trends in migration towards and within Europe. Another migration flow occurred in Western Europe at the end of the Cold War. Between 1989 and 1992, asylum applications increased from 220,000 to 695,000. The top 5 countries of origin during this period were the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Romania, Turkey, Iraq, and Afghanistan. In the first decade of the 21st century, new asylum applications followed the conjuncture of admissions, restrictions, and numbers of violent conflict. By 2010, the EU's 25 plus Norway and Switzerland has received 254,180 applications, and humanitarian migration accounted for 6% of newcomers to EU.
Migration is a global trend caused by different factors leading to different impacts. For today's show, we will be focusing on Germany and the United Kingdom.
In recent years, Germany has been one of the greatest receivers of migrants. Germany reported the largest total number of migrants, 917.1 thousand in 2017. The conflict in Syria between the government of Bashar al-Assad and other forces, which started in the spring of 2011, continue to cause displacement within the countries and across the region. At the end of 2014, an estimate of 7.6 million people were internally displaced, and 3.7 million Syrians have fled the country due to the conflict and were registered as refugees in neighboring countries. While Germany, an economic powerhouse with a falling birth rate, aging population, had opened her door to Syrians fleeing the brutal civil war that had left them unable to go to school, work, or lead any safe, healthy life. Chancellor Angela Merkel removed a legal EU barrier requiring Syrian refugees to claim asylum in their first country of arrival, famously intoning, "We can do this," in a message to her citizens.
Wir schaffen das, denn Deutschland ist ein starkes.
According to the statistics in 2014, Germany is home for 20,000 Syrian refugees, which is 12 times compared to the other Europe countries like Austria, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, Finland.
Und so lernen wir in dieser Flüchtlingssituation, dass wir alle miteinander zusammenhängen und unser Leben auch davon beeinflusst wird, wenn woanders etwas Schreckliches geschieht. Und das werden wir durch das Bauen von Zäunen nicht verändern können. Davon bin ich ganz fest.
In 2015, Germany granted asylum to over 140,000 migrants, more than any other European countries. At first, Finland was 33% of Germans said the country could take on additional asylum seekers. Allowing refugee migrants into the country may help the German government gain a better reputation as a humanitarian country. But on the New Year Eve in 2015, the situation changed because of the mass sexual assault made public by young Arab men or North African appearing in colony. A rush of sexual assault changed the public opinion. After the incident, only 18% of Germans felt the country could take in more asylees. Migrants who are fresh off the boat may have difficulty to sustain their living. Open door to welcome the refugee, but the German government doesn't have any plan to help them to have their new life. So in order to satisfy their basic needs, some migrants may break into shops, steal or rob from local or tourists, leading to an increase in crime rate.
We have been in this place some a year, some 2 years, some 9 months. Like this, I'm 9 months now. No school, nothing, no proper care, no feeding, no care, no love. And we are suffering too much.
The German political party Alternative for Germany have made claims about a link between the influx of migrants and the rise in crime rate. Since 2014, the proportion of non-German suspects in the crime statistic had increased from 24% to just over 30%. Breaking that down further, in 2017, those classified as asylum applicants, civil war refugees, or illegal immigrants represented 8.5% of all suspects. In terms of the hospitality industry, such an increase in crime rate will affect the safety and reputation of the countries, which affect directly to the number of tourists come to the countries. Since some migrants may not have a house to live in, they will live as homeless, occupying the street, making a bad image for the countries. The presence of refugees and immigrants in tourist destinations may cause various feelings to tourists and influence their total travel experience and their intention to visit the destination.
In 1973, the UK first joined the European Union, which was designed to integrate member nations politically and economically, with a united foreign policies and common citizenship rights. With such policies, the UK is obligated to let European nationals into the country without visas. European borders have a direct impact on the labor issues facing the hospitality industry labor pool. Seeing that the UK's economy is fairly well developed compared to the other member nations, many Europeans migrate to the UK for a better life. Wages in the UK being higher than in the immigrant countries of the origin, attracting nationals to move back and look for jobs in the country. Labor shortage in some areas is another reason for the UK to import labor from abroad, hence the increase in the number of migrants to the UK. Figures from the Labour Force Survey indicate that in 2007, 63% of the hospitality employees in London were from overseas. There are several pull factors attracting European nationals to migrate to the UK. Seasonality is one of the main reasons. As the UK faces the problem of labour shortage during the high season, seasonal workers are great in demand. Immigration reform. While facing challenges and changes to the immigrant policies, the hospitality industry found employment solutions oftentimes through immigrants. The immigrants also have the opportunity to learn or improve their English language skill. Foreign-born employees are usually perceived as good employees, highly committed, obedient, and reliable, and many hospitality jobs are socially constructed, being men's or women's work. For example, Polish women work in housekeeping in London's hotel. Temporary migrant workers are used to supplementing full-time staff during peak times. However, in recent years, in order to avoid the huge payment to the EU, protect her own tradings and save jobs opportunities for local British. The United Kingdom has been wanting to leave the European Union, hence the Brexit referendum. This may affect the supply of labor in the country, causing a shortage in the workforce. The issue of the Brexit in the UK may lead to an issue of labor shortage, as European migrant workers may be forced out of the country.
No matter which country it is, migration brings about different impacts to the receiving countries. Migration raises issues such as increase in crime rate, but it also brings more labor supply to the workforce as it does for the UK.
Besides, migrants help increase diversity in the workplace.
Being in a globalized world with advanced technology and well-developed transportation, traveling has been made very easy. With tourists traveling across the world, there are now more situations where tourists don't speak the native language of their destination. This is when foreign workers give a helping hand. International workers have traditionally formed a significant part of the hospitality workforce. As a people business, it is necessary to have workers from all around the world so as to allow easier communication with international guests to cater to their needs and provide better services. There are downsides of the trend as well. Seatourism found that the number of immigrants residing in a destination can increase inbound tourist flows. Immigrants' family and friends are likely to travel to their countries of residence to visit them. Therefore, the larger the immigration population, the more people will be traveling for such purpose, causing the so-called immigration-led tourism.
On the other hand, immigration is considered as one of the elements transmitting diseases. Regardless of government efforts of scanning immigrants, diseases can cross over borders and impact the local population. Such health issues may become push factors affecting tourist decision to visit the country, hence leading to a decrease in tourist arrivals in states with such diseases. As the world becomes more globalized, migration has become a fast-growing trend worldwide. While there may be culture shock and other disagreements with immigrants, at the end of the day, they all have their own reasons for moving, and some have a very tough life story to tell. We should view migration as a universal human right and treat immigrants with dignity and respect one another. Thank you so much for watching. Before we say goodbye, let's say thank you to Ms. Velma, Ms. Katie, and Mr. Shum. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Bye. We are the children.